Sure enough, we paddled right into swimmer territory and up onto the beach. Meek seemed to be back to his normal self now that we were on dry land again. However, I knew I needed to get him back out soon so he could get used to the big blue. Yo brah. An older blonde-haired surfer greeted us as we came out of the water. Yo, I said back, any chance of hitching? Yo brah, was his answer. I glanced at Meek as I heaved my board into the back of the dude's old white station wagon. Meek did the same and we climbed into the back seat along with a couple even older guys. They all looked to be in their early to mid-20s. You're a big gunner? One of the dudes asked Meek. He's asking about your long board. I told Meek. Yeah. Meek agreed. To cover for Meek's obvious greenness, I explained to the other guys. Here's my bra. In for the competition. Righteous. The guy who'd offered to give us the ride said. Name's Jimmy. I said, pointing to myself. Staunch. The driver pointed to himself first, then to the other two, Boner and Bill. Nice to meet you. Meek said, sounding like an Easterner. He a hodad? The driver asked. Nah, just green on the scene, but he hangs the heavies. I told the guys. After being dropped off downtown and lugging our boards back to the hotel, Meek asked me, what is a hodad? I chuckled, a non-surfer. You know, like someone who just hangs around the beach all day, but never goes out in the water. Oh, and what did you tell him about me? Meek asked next. I told him you are an East Coast stoner that was looking for some but loving. I joked, which earned me a playful elbow to the ribs. Meek chuckled, no seriously. Laughing a bit, I answered with, basically, I told him you are new to California, but you're a great surfer. Really? He asked as he puffed up a bit at being referred to as great. Yeah, and I meant it too. I said while playfully pushing my shoulder into him. Back at the hotel we both showered off the salt water, covered each other with a fresh slathering of suntan lotion, and I put on a good night before slipping into another pair of shorts. Then the two of us went to the poolside, downed a couple sodas each while I began to educate Meek in the fine art of the surfing language. He was already semi-well versed, but he needed some polishing. After a while we decided to walk around town. I had in mind to find a pair of Huarache sandals for each of us and knew the perfect place to go. I had to explain what Huarache sandals were. However, before we left I had to have another change. That's the problem with good nights. They don't hold a lot of pee when you're moving around a lot. They are leather and rubber sandals made from old tire treads. I explained to Meek as I was pulling my shorts back on. Alright, and why do we want Huarache sandals? Meek asked. They are infinitely more comfortable to walk long distances in. Flip-flops are great for the beach, but murder to walk any distance in. I said. Oh good. I thought it was just me because my feet are killing me. Meek said. Yeah, mine too, but then again I'm out of practice. I used to run all over this town either barefoot or in flip-flops. We found the place I was looking for. It was a hole-in-the-wall shop run by a blind woman and her two daughters. Each pair of Huarache sandals are made by hand, by the three of them, but none are sold until the blind woman has inspected them herself using her hands to go over everything. I didn't bother to translate for Meek as I walked in and began spewing what must have sounded like complete gibberish to him. A few minutes later and $27 poorer, the two of us walked out wearing perfect-fitting Huarache sandals. Remember what Gary said about keeping my mouth shut? Well, this was one of those occasions. The old blind woman recognized my voice instantly, but she smiled and told me that I didn't smell like I used to. She was a good 15 feet from where I was standing, and the shop reeked of rubber, leather, and oils. Therefore, the fact that she could smell me was rather amazing. Thankfully, she didn't seem to know that so many people were looking for me. She simply remembered me from before. You've not been in for some time, she said to me in normal English. Figured since my best friend is here to visit, I'd get a new pair while he's getting some too. That seemed to satisfy any curiosity the old blind woman might have had. Oh man, these are much better, Meek commented as we stepped out of the shop and onto the hot concrete sidewalk. Yeah, I'm stoked, I said, and famished. Me too, Meek agreed. I could eat a whale. We grabbed some grub and headed back to the hotel to hide out for a while. Too bad we couldn't wear these in Maine. I declared. Yeah, he agreed, maybe warm enough by the time we get back but won't be for long. But we could wear them at the water park. I suggested. You know, that place isn't going to be the same now that I've been in the real ocean. Meek stated with a rather heavy sigh. Well, it is better than not getting to surf at all. I maintained. Besides, we'll be lucky if we ever see the light of day after this, let alone the water park. Meek moaned, oh man, I don't even want to think about that. Grandfather is probably going to throw me down some rickety old staircase and lock me away until I am 30. Meek covered his ears and complained loudly, I said I didn't want to think about that. And Pepper's probably going to tie you to the bed and have his way with you. Oh wait, that might not be a punishment. I teased. Even with his ears covered, he still heard me and laughed. Out of nowhere he asked, do you miss your girlfriend from Ohio? I groaned. Well, I wasn't, but thank you for reminding me. Want to give me a nice deep cut and pour lemon juice on it while you're at it? Of course, I was only trying to make him feel bad. I wasn't pining for Jacqueline in the least bit. Well, that is what I kept telling myself anyway.